And we're just looking at pictures here from French TV, a lot of pictures being posted by tourists on social media of that attack on the beach in Sousse, Tunisia. We're just getting a line from the Foreign and Commonwealth Office, the spokesperson there saying, "We are aware of reports and are urgently looking into them. We stand ready to provide consular assistance to any British nationals affected." A lot of British tourists caught up in this terror attack in Tunisia. Joining us now on the line is Olivier Guita, who's an international security consultant. Let's get your reaction to this, Olivier.
Look, a couple of things. Not surprising, just a few days ago, the spokesman from the Islamic State, Al-Adnani, had called for specific attacks during the holy months of Ramadan, saying that his fighters would be even more rewarded if they were to pull off attacks. And today, Friday, prayer day, you had 3 attacks, the Kuwait, Tunisia, and France. I tend to agree that I would be surprised if they were coordinated, inspired for sure. But look, we are now facing multiple theaters of war where individuals are radicalized, can either come back from theaters of war or being homegrown and attacking the homeland. And that's the nightmarish scenario that security services had envisioned a few months ago.
So, Olivier, you're saying that perhaps there's no surprise that this attack took place today. There were indications that an attack was imminent.
Look, I mean, Tunisia, for sure, they've been really much on the lookout, and especially in tourist areas, they had increased tremendously their security in the past 2 months. So they were ready for that. And remember, Tunisia has the largest contingent of foreign fighters in Syria and Iraq, upwards of 3,000, and Tunisian authorities have arrested 12,000 more men and women that were on their way to Syria and Iraq in the past year. So very much unsurprising. When it comes to the French attack, it's interesting that it didn't happen in Paris, but rather in a provincial town, and it could have been much more worse than it was, because it had been a major explosion. If a firefighter had not stopped the terrorists, then we would have had a much higher toll in terms of death.
Yeah, Olivier, we are hearing that 19 confirmed dead. That's coming from the Interior Ministry of Tunisia. You talk there about Sousse as a provincial town. Perhaps, is this why it was targeted in terms of security might have been a little lower here than elsewhere in Tunisia?
Honestly, not really. I mean, you have to give it to the Tunisian authorities that they've been very much on the lookout for attacks, especially in tourist areas, and Sousse is a tourist area. So on the beach, they have both private security, but also policemen and security forces on each beach looking at everyone. So, and that's why you had a quick response, but there's so much they can do. I mean, the effect of surprise is huge, and gunmen can just shoot the innocent civilians quickly before people can react. So and that's where the crux of the issue is now for security services, is that those kind of low sophisticated attacks cannot really be prevented, except if you have very good intelligence, and if you get before the attack a tip from somebody that there's no way that any of the security services can stop that.
Just in terms of the security on that beach, we were talking to a British holidaymaker who was on that beach, and he said that earlier in the day he saw 2 policemen on the beach on horseback. Obviously, hotels have their own security. But when you talk about heightened security around tourist destinations in Tunisia, I'm talking in light of the museum attack some months ago now. Can they really deal with gunmen? Do they carry guns? How equipped are they for this kind of attack?
Look, the private security are not equipped with guns. The policemen obviously are. What they can do is really try to, as much as possible, by showing a presence, really turn away some of the terrorists that would go after them. But we're talking about young men and women that have no respect for life and would go towards committing suicide. And that's something that you cannot fight off. I mean, we're not talking about security forces that will have, a huge amount of weapons that will change anything. If you have individuals that are willing to die for their cause, then there's nothing that the security services can do. I mean, as you said, policemen were there. They've done a lot of work trying to prevent such attacks, but without intel, it's really impossible for them to deal with that. But it will have a huge impact already on a tourist season that is really, really bad already in Tunisia. It will push the country further into an economic slump, and that's very worrisome.
Okay, Olivier Guita, security expert, we'll leave it there. Thank you very much. Just